the UN system, and various stakeholders have benefited from. To further guarantee resilience, we call for the concerted and enhanced global efforts towards promoting investments, particularly in local manufacturing capacity and technology transfer on vaccines, related infrastructure, human capital, as well as research and development, R&D. Mr. President, the new administration in Zambia is cognizant that a conducive governance environment is a precursor for the country's political stability, security, economic growth, and sustainable development. It also fosters enhanced transparency, accountability, and consultative dialogue. Very important. With this realization, our administration will work towards strengthening of oversight, governance institutions, and ensure the independence and autonomy of the three arms of government, particularly the legislature and the judiciary. The fight against corruption will be at the center of our transformation agenda, and this shall be expected to be executed with zero tolerance to corruption. Zero tolerance to corruption. We shall also promote free media and an active civil society, as they are critical in upholding checks and balances, human rights, liberties, and freedoms. Mr. President, my government's high priority is to restore macroeconomic stability, attain fiscal and debt sustainability, promote economic growth, enhance economic diversification, and manage the contraction of debt. I am confident that these measures will restore macroeconomic stability and put the country back on economic recovery. To sustain this growth, Zambia will dedicate efforts to guarantee a stable and predictable environment that will attract and protect local, regional, and foreign direct investment, as well as enhance local participation in our economy. Very important. This is a prerequisite for a vibrant private sector-led economy, and thus create jobs and opportunities for all our people. Mr. President, to complement these efforts, Zambia has embarked on an ambitious economic and social transformation agenda with a view to creating equitable opportunities and poverty reduction for the Zambian people, especially the youth and the women who actually delivered our election victory in our country. In order to achieve this goal, our administration shall design and implement interventions aimed at inducing enhanced productivity in agriculture, mining, energy, financial services, tourism, technology, health, and education, as well as support the growth of micro, small, and medium enterprises. Despite these well-thought-out interventions, today's world economy is more complex than ever before. Given the numerous global concerns, including pandemics, climate change, and indeed illegal human migration, it is imperative that we adapt to these effects of globalization by fostering key partnerships and deepening integration at all levels, so to say. This is critical to ensure that we realize our aspirations of restoring Zambia on a path to sustainable economic growth and development. Mr. President, Zambia is aware of the critical role of the United Nations in guiding the world to focus on the Sustainable Development Agenda. In particular, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development has set the tone and benchmarks for countries to incorporate sustainability in their development policies. Our new dawn government in Zambia is committed to realizing tangible growth and sustainable development while paying particular attention so that this is not achieved at the expense of future generations. Like many other developing countries, Zambia calls for closer cooperation and support for capacity to adopt better, safer, climate change sensitive and modern methods of increased production and productivity. Our administration has established a ministry that is the first of its kind in Zambia, the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. To address this, among other important issues concerning environmental sustainability, it became important for us to establish this new ministry. This will be crucial to build the ability for implementing climate-positive actions in our country. Mr. President, I'm drawn to the prophetic inscription on the wall of the United Nations Plaza, and I quote, "They shall beat their swords to plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." Isaiah 2, verses 4 to 5, end of quote. These words, Mr. President, serve as a reminder to the United Nations to work towards global peace and international cooperation. Though we have made leaps and bounds in the area of peace, security, and stability, there remains pockets of conflict in many regions of the world where guns have not been silenced up to now. The silencing of guns, therefore, goes beyond addressing conventional warfare, but also in addressing new emerging threats of our century, which include challenges of extremism and international terrorism, cybercrime, asymmetric warfare, proliferation of non-conventional weapons, and organized crime. As an international community, we need to continue to work together to address the root cause of these global threats through various national, regional, and global mechanisms. Mr. President, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, the late Dr. Kofi Annan, laid out an ambitious agenda before the 60th General Assembly, which is still prominent or pertinent today. In his report, "In Larger Freedom Towards Development, Security, and Human Rights for War," he made the case that development, security, and respect for human rights cannot be enjoyed in the absence of the other. These are indispensable realities of a well-functioning nation and international system. I, however, wish to go a step further, Mr. President, in asserting that the foundation to sustainable economic growth and development is peace and stability. Without peace and harmony, development cannot be attained. Zambia will therefore continue to support national, regional, and international initiatives aimed at promoting security, peace, and stability. In this vein, Zambia reaffirms its commitment to play an active role in the SADC mission in Mozambique aimed at restoring peace to the Cabo Delgado province of that country. In addition, Zambia remains committed to the cause of the Lusaka Master Roadmap to silence guns in Africa, an initiative being implemented by all African Union AU member states to promote peace and security, which has since been endorsed for extension for a further 10-year period from 2021 to 2030. We therefore wish to call for continued support of the United Nations in silencing guns in Africa and other continental initiatives. Mr. President, in the quest for promoting global peace and stability, security, Zambia notes with satisfaction the entry into force of the Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, TPNW, which became operative on the 22nd January 2021. The entry into force of the TPNW is a tangible feat towards advancing the cause of nuclear disarmament on the international stage. Zambia encourages other states that are yet to ratify the TPNW to come on board so that we can continue making advances towards achieving our aspirations of eradicating nuclear weapons on our continent.
I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Rwanda to introduce an address by the head of state.
Mr. President, it is my distinct honor to introduce a pre-recorded statement by His Excellency Mr. Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, on the occasion of the general debate of the 76th session of the UN General Assembly. Thank you.
Excellency Abdallah Shahid, President of the General Assembly, Excellency Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Excellencies, heads of state and government, distinguished delegates. Fighting the COVID-19 pandemic has challenged the international system like never before. However, alongside unfortunate examples of inequality, we have also seen evidence of the spirit of global solidarity and fairness, exemplifying the best values of our organization. The COVAX mechanism, despite its limitations, is one such case. Without this system, Africa's vaccine deficit would be even more severe. But we can and must do more to speed up vaccine distribution in Africa. Doing so benefits the entire world. The positive steps from various partners and companies toward building local vaccine manufacturing capacity is also very welcome. We must harness this positive momentum to build long-term pandemic resilience where it is needed most. The cooperation at the G7 and the G20 to issue new special drawing rights is another positive example. A further voluntary reallocation of new SDRs to countries that need them most will help create the fiscal space required for a faster and more equitable recovery from the pandemic. Nevertheless, the world is seriously off track with the Sustainable Development Goals. In fairness, we were behind schedule with the SDGs even before the pandemic hit. But there is now increased attention to figuring out how to refocus our efforts and catch up. We need to convert this sense of urgency into a durable political commitment to achieving the SDGs. That commitment must put climate change mitigation at the center of our efforts.